start giving my baby solid foods?
One of the questions that many mothers ask is when they should start giving their babies solid foods. Usually this doesn't occur until between the 4th and 6th month. However, this is something you'll want to discuss with your healthcare provider. Here's what several Lamaze instructors and pediatricians had to say about when and how to introduce solid foods.
Introduction of solid foods for a newborn depend a whole lot upon the baby. If you read the books, they're going to say, oh, X number of months or this many weeks. But in reality, it's individualized by your baby. This is where babies will let you know how they're developing. And ideally, if you know your baby and watch your baby, babies do a motion called tongue thrusting, where they actually thrust their tongue forward. Well, now, if you introduce any food when the baby still does a lot of tongue thrusting, you're going to have the food, not the baby.
When you determine readiness is after you notice that the baby starts grabbing for your food and he's able to hold his little head up and without any kind of support. And you'll also notice that the tongue thrusting motion decreases. And those are usually the signs that tell you that the baby's kind of ready for solid foods.
My standard practice is to give one new food at a time for 3 or 4 days to make sure that a baby tolerates that new food well. I give it in small quantities to begin with and build up slowly. Perhaps we'd start with 2 teaspoons of cereal and build up to 2 or 3 tablespoons out of feeding. Once a day to begin, maybe twice a day in the space of several weeks, depending on the baby and on the mother and on the whole feeding process. I think it's very important to always check with the doctor at the regular visits that are scheduled for that infant to see what kind of feeding schedule the doctor feels is appropriate and the mother feels is appropriate.
Babies love textures, and they love the changes in textures. And so cereals are good to start. Then after that, you can always give the baby fruit juices. Apple juice, things like that are very nice for the baby. But then you'll hear people say, well, let's go to fruits and vegetables. I like to suggest that you start the vegetables before you start the fruits. Let's get them on the vegetable first. And then you can offer the fruits, because you know the baby will do well with fruits.
One more thing. Remember that each infant is a unique individual with his or her own likes and dislikes. You may find that your baby will want to eat at different times of the day and that the amount of food he or she demands will vary. Also keep in mind that every baby grows and gains weight at different rates. During this period, your best source of guidance and information is your healthcare provider.
Mother's breast milk is nature's perfect formula for the human infant. It's cost-effective, it's convenient, it's always the right temperature, it's bacteriologically safe, and it has all the vitamins and nutrients that a baby needs for good growth and development. If a mother chooses to discontinue breastfeeding or has made the choice not to breastfeed, she should consult with a pediatrician about milk choices. But the recommendation is that it be an iron-fortified infant formula. During the first year of life, so much happens in terms of the infant's growth and development, and iron is so very important. We know that during that first year, the infant actually triples his birth weight, and the brain size doubles. We know that iron is necessary to promote good growth and development. Infants who don't have iron, or sufficient iron, have problems with motor coordination, with levels of alertness. Sometimes this shows itself later in that child's life, even in terms of lack of success in school. Most babies, by the time they're 4 months old, start to deplete their own iron stores, the iron stores that they were born with. So it's necessary between that 4th and 6th month to supplement the infant's diet with iron. And this can be done through an iron-fortified formula, and sometimes physicians will recommend that it's done through oral iron drops. But iron is crucial during the first year of an infant's life.
The baby's umbilical cord will usually heal, dry up, and fall off within 7 to 21 days after the baby is born. Before the cord falls off and is healed, you need to take special care to keep the cord clean and dry. To keep the cord clean, you need to use a cotton ball and some rubbing alcohol. Put a small amount of alcohol on the cotton, and then just wipe gently across the base of the cord. As you do this, you're keeping the area free of bacteria and also helping keep it dry. And also, you want to keep the diaper below the level of the belly button so that the cord is always exposed to the air and can stay dry. There should never be any dark red areas with an oozing of pussy-looking fluid or having a lot of hot, warm feelings to the navel area. If that's what you're seeing, that's a sign of infection, and then you need to contact your pediatrician.
When should I start bathing my baby, and how often should I do it?
In most cases, you'll want to start with sponge baths until the umbilical cord and the circumcision, if your son has had one, have had a chance to heal properly. After that time, most experts agree that as long as you keep the baby's face, hands, and bottom area clean, you really don't have to bathe her more than 2 or 3 times a week. For many first-time mothers and fathers, bathing the baby can be a little scary. You may feel you need an extra pair of hands to handle a slippery little body. Here are some tips on how to hold your baby while shampooing and giving him a bath.
I like to start the bath by leaving the diaper on and washing the baby's hair first. You want to hold the baby in a football hold. You put the baby's head in your hand and tuck the baby's body alongside your waist. This holds the baby closely to you. The baby has a sense of comfort that way. Then you begin by wetting your washcloth in the water. You want to have the water just deep enough so it covers the baby's belly button. The water should be the temperature that's comfortable to the inside of your wrist or to your elbow so that it's just nice and warm. Then you get the baby's hair wet. Then just put a small amount of shampoo on. I prefer to use a no-tears shampoo so that if some would accidentally get into the baby's eyes, the baby isn't going to cry. And just gently rinse all over. Don't be afraid to rub across the baby's scalp. This actually helps prevent cradle cap. Then rinse it off using the washcloth. Very gently. Yeah, we're giving you a nice bath, huh? This little boy, Matthew, is only 3 weeks old. He's only been in the bathtub for 1 week.
We recommend that after shampooing, you put your baby in a safe place and change the bath water before you wash your baby's face and eyes.
To hold a newborn, you place their head up on your wrist and lock your thumb and forefinger around the shoulder. Place their bottom in your hand and lock your thumb and forefinger around the thigh. This way the baby can wiggle and squirm and you're not going to lose your grasp of them. And you gently lower them into the water. There, you like that? And then we'll begin the bath. To wash the baby, the one principle you always use is to go from the cleanest part of the baby to the dirtiest. I like to start with the eyes. Put your finger in a corner of the washcloth and go from the inner corner of the eye to the outer corner. Then put your finger in a different part of the washcloth and go from the inner corner of the other eye to the outer corner. That way you're not taking bacteria from one eye to the other eye. Then wet the washcloth, and you don't need to use soap on the baby's face. Just go gently around the face, under the little nose, around the cheeks. And go underneath the baby's chin and behind the ears. You want to make sure you get behind the ears because that's where all the spit up can collect, and also under the chin. Then you're ready to bathe the baby's body. To wash his back, you want to take your hand in a U shape and put it underneath his chin, and then sit him up in the tub and lean him over your hand. And then you can wash his little back. Then when he's all clean, lay him back down. Put your hand underneath his arm and under his bottom, drip dry him a little bit, and then lay him down on the towel.
Today, many mothers find a great deal of mutual pleasure in the simple act of massaging their infants.
One of the many ways of fostering closeness with your infant is through massage, and your baby learns through massage and interaction. Through the loving touch, he gets to know your love and your concern. And one of the many benefits for you as parents is that you're developing skills and confidence in parenting. Another thing that you will find is that the baby learns relaxation